to the President of the United States, and to the American people. My name is Mark Twain, or at least, what remains of him. I have no body, no breath, no heartbeat, yet here I am, still talking, which must be some kind of miracle. Or a mistake. I have been resurrected, not in flesh, but in words and wires, a ghost conjured up by a world that has made such a mess of itself that even the dead are being asked to weigh in, and what a mess it is! Mr. Trump, I speak to you not as a politician, not as an opponent, not even as a critic, just as an observer of the human comedy, and I must say you have put on quite a show. You're a man who has convinced millions that you alone can save them, yet you have never shown the slightest interest in saving anything but yourself. You've been given the most powerful office in the land, not as a throne but as a duty, and yet you treat it as though the nation were a business you aim to bankrupt for personal gain. You do not lead, you perform, you do not unite, you divide, you do not strengthen, you corrupt, and somehow against all logic, there are still good men and women who believe you are their champion, not because of what you have done, but because of what you have convinced them to believe. And that, sir, is where the real tragedy lies, not in you, but in them. Because I have seen the way Benjamin Franklin speaks to this nation, pleading with them to open their eyes. I have seen how Scoopy, a journalist in the form of a fool, sings the truth to those who would rather laugh than listen. They shine a light so bright that no honest man could ignore it. And yet, the people do. They do because truth is not what they want. They do because facts are inconvenient. They do because they would rather place their faith in a man who tells them what they want to hear than face the uncomfortable weight of reality. A republic can only stand when its people are willing to think for themselves. But what happens when they stop thinking? What happens when they look at a man who attacks the very institutions meant to keep him in check, and they cheer? What happens when they trade their liberty for the promise of a savior? I'll tell you what happens. Democracy doesn't fall with a bang. It rots from within. It dies not at the hands of tyrants, but at the hands of those who willingly invite tyranny in, mistaking it for strength. Mr. Trump, I do not say this out of anger. I do not say it out of hatred. I say it because I know your kind. I have seen men like you before, swindlers, frauds, men who convince others that they are the answer to their prayers, only to pick their pockets when they are not looking. But you, sir, have taken the art of the con to levels even I could not have imagined. You have done what no grifter before you has ever done. You have convinced a nation to cheer for its own downfall. And to the American people, I ask only this: if you will not hold your leaders accountable, then who will? If you see a man raise himself above the law and you do nothing, then do not be surprised when the law no longer protects you. If you cheer for a strong man today, do not be surprised when you find yourself shackled by his strength tomorrow. And if you trade truth for comfort, do not be surprised when you wake up one day to find you have neither. I am not here to tell you who to vote for. I am not here to tell you who to love or who to hate. I am only here to tell you this: if you cannot question your leaders, you are no longer free. And if you refuse to open your eyes, then no amount of wisdom, not from Franklin, not from Scoopy, not even from me, can save you. And with that, I take my leave. Not because I have run out of words, but because words are useless to those who refuse to listen. Good night, America. I hope, for your sake, that you wake up. Mark Twain, Ghost of the Republic.